Yeah, so Pyro done, innit? Shout out to Pyro. Yeah, there will be no more freestyles around me.
Listen, I was gonna wear my Pyro t-shirt to launch this off, man.
I wore my Pyro jacket here in like tribute, you know what I want?
Yeah. Like, shout out pyroradio.com. You know what I'm saying?
Shout that man like Antonio.
Yeah. We ain't done a Pyro show for a hot minute. We might still do them.
Yeah.
We said we might do them occasionally. We might do it. So we were doing Flip Life Radio on Pyro Radio, and we were basically like a podcast. We were doing it based on, well, The Breakfast Club, which is a radio show, but based on talk content.
Yeah,
where most of the other shows were based on music content. And we were early on the wave of making that kind of podcast style content in UK hip hop. And then now we you know, since lockdown and that, we ain't been doing it. And now every rapper got a podcast. Like, everyone's out here.
Not just every rapper, man. There's just people in the game, man. There's a lot of people just.
And a lot of like Manosphere podcasts and all
Football
of these
podcasts. Yeah. There's a lot of them, man.
So we've been saying we need to come back, Flip Life podcast, do it official.
Yeah.
So episode 1. This is episode 1, attempt 3. So hopefully it comes out.
Yeah.
Is it 3 or attempt? At least
it's free. It's free.
At least we recorded a full podcast that didn't come out.
Yeah.
Shout out Steady and Kingship Studios.
Yeah,
we went and recorded it there. The studio was blessed, but a couple of things didn't work. I didn't have these mics. We used some different mics, so the sound wasn't quite good enough.
The sound was off.
So I bought these proper podcast mics now.
And it was a depression our show.
Yeah, and you wasn't like
I was like, oh, this is.
You was like, nah, I don't know. You were shook about things you said. Am I violating?
You're talking about it at all. I wasn't even shook. I was just like, this feels silly, innit? It just feels like, I don't know, man. I was watching bare podcasts with a bunch of men talking about women's issues when there's no women in the room.
There was no women in the room, yeah.
I was just like, I don't want to do that.
Well, we might slightly end up doing that today. The topic is a bit less on the nose in
that
regard,
but that was like direct. I was like, I ain't on it.
All right, so just to intro, it's the Flip Life Podcast, episode 1. My name is Novar FLIP, formerly Supernova. I'll never say that on 9, but just because it's episode 1, tell them, yeah, Mud Family, FLIP.
Don't know.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Just talking about.
And yourself, like,
man, Big Ben.
You know what I'm saying?
Ballo, if you're local.
We might have to make like a holder.
You get me?
Oh, yeah.
These times.
Shout out wise, I'm just being told which camera I'm supposed to speak to. But obviously, this is my camera. But I'm just talking to B. You know what I'm saying? We'll do it. I was trying not to. I'm trying to just do my thing. But if I'm talking, if I want to talk to the people, I'm gonna talk to the people there. Cool.
That's a good look to know where to look at, because Wise has got a full set here.
So last time also when we done the last attempt to make this first episode, we just recorded it like on the video. We're just doing it on phones, and then we were just like, nah, like Wise has got this equipment, he's doing his thing too, so let's do it proper today. So shout out, is it Be Elite Media, right? Be Elite Media.
Be Elite.
Plumage Couture, which Big Ben is wearing there, and I'm wearing. You know, there you go. All right. So yeah, but Flip Life. For anyone who don't follow us, who don't know our history, we was a rap group from, me and Ben have been friends since we was like, can't remember, little kids, like 1 year old. Our parents were friends, and then primary school together, secondary school together, and we started a rap group called Flip the Script long time ago.
Yeah,
and then
like 10, 11.
Yeah, and then we were like associated with Mud Family, and
Skinny brought us in like 13, 14.
Touring, Skinnyman, all that kind of stuff. So that's where our beginnings came, and then over the years, as this kind of content became what was going on the internet, we got involved in it early. And
also, like, you know what I'm saying?
In media.
Just like Skinny brought us in and took us around, we wanted to just also, when we was on Pyro especially, we wanted to just give a platform to next youth.
To the next artist.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that's slightly different to what we're going to do here, is because we ain't got a guest here today. We might have sometimes.
We will have occasionally, but it's like more time. We was having a talk show as well.
We was having a talk show before, but we always brought in a guest halfway through to join our debate. And what we would do is we make them join the debate. Like we would get them on and ask them a really intense question straight away, rather than even like, oh, how's your career going? And it would like just throw them into the mix. But what wasn't happening...
And you get to know them better real quick.
And that's what everyone loved, those interviews. They loved them. Yeah. But the only thing is like, like you said, we were doing the talk show, but a beginning bit for the first hour of us talking would never go on YouTube. So that's why we're kind of like, all right, everyone's doing that now. Like this is... And we were saying from time with Pyro, we're missing a trick, not recording a bit of us talking.
Antonio didn't get the vision.
Yeah.
Shout out to Antonio. Yeah. He had his own vision. No, that's more what it was.
He might get the vision, but it's like, they're like the things that gets views on Pyro's thing is freestyles. Grime ciphers and drum and bass ciphers.
You should have put the first hour in every time though.
Yeah.
That's when I was saying all the stuff that would have got us cancelled. Molotov cocktails and such. You know what I'm saying? Madness on that show.
Yeah. Well, here we are, man. I guess that's the intro. Well, I'm trying to time it, yeah? So if you're seeing this on the camera, I'm trying to time in sections. We've got sections of things we're going to talk about today. So a less depressing subject, this one is, yeah. So we're going to get into are we going to get into the subject now?
Let's get into the meat and potatoes.
All right, because I've done that. I'm going to reset the timer so that we can get into the debate. Yeah?
Right. Can an abuser earn forgiveness?
Yeah, that's the question we're asking today.
Can he?
And we didn't have the abuser part in there at first, but that's how we've ended up framing the question, because we wanted to basically say like, can someone?
It's been a couple of weeks of abuse, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's been abuse.
Like in the news, like a lot of stories are relevant to this question. So we're asking, can an abuser earn forgiveness? And I guess what we're trying to say is someone who's done something really bad, can they and should they earn forgiveness in what circumstances?
It depends on...
Are you going to get the answer straight away, now?
My opinion, isn't it?
Let's do it. Yeah, cool.
No, we're not going to give our opinions before we go through it. You just want to give them at the end, like, ooh.
Yeah, that's what we used to do, no?
Build up the tension.
No, I always used to ask you, what do you think? And then I was like, I'll leave mine.
You leave yours to the end, yeah?
I don't know. I don't know whether we should go in straight. I mean, you can say what you want in it, but obviously there's a lot of comments to read out. We've already got the debate going online.
Yeah, before the comments come, in case they think man's biting, innit? I haven't read the comments yet, though. Go on.
But also, like, I guess just to expand on the topic, so it ties into, this idea of cancel culture. We did some shows on cancel culture, innit? Probably on the radio, but it's ongoing. It seems to be an ongoing topic in... media, social media.
It's wild when it gets brought up, in it, because the old type of cancelling still happens all the time. Yeah.
What's the old style of cancelling?
Like, when like corporations cancel people and the press cancel people and they stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, not like the public decide not to mess with someone because of something they did.
But that's what they're called when they say cancel culture. I guess they do. They are talking about the public as well, but they're talking about people losing jobs, people losing work.
That's different though. To an extent where like if you said some madness online and then they call up your boss and like this is what they said, do you stand behind it and you get fired? All right, that's a type of cancelling, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, like there's large scale cancelling, like when, like if you say the wrong thing and then like your career's done, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? If you have the wrong opinion and your career's done. But it was nothing to do with, like, the way it exists today, innit?
How does it exist today?
Like, in the way the people talk about it, it's like, oh, this comedian said something. Or this, you know what I'm saying, this celebrity said something. Now no one can't mess with them. But that feels kind of small, innit?
Wasn't that happening? Didn't that used to happen sometimes as well? Anyway, I guess not to the extent, like you say, with social media.
Not really, because also there was only so few medias back in the day. Now we got bare. So it's like...
media platforms.
Yeah, and they all had the same line more time. It's not like there was like taking sides.
I've stated this before when we've discussed this, but this is the first episode of New Things. I say I don't think cancel culture exists.
In the way it's talked about.
I've been challenged on that more over recent times and kind of come around to certain, exists in that sense. I don't think it exists. I think it's a tool used by right-wing media mostly in order to justify the thing that people are trying to push back against. It's just a backlash and say, all right, no, we're saying it's okay to do this. And then you've got them saying it's not okay, them saying it is okay, and it just pushes back and forth, and it all still exists. But some people do lose jobs and lose work.
And also it gets to a thing where it's like corporations will be asked, do you stand behind this person and their views? And so then they'll stop working with people based on certain views. But I don't see, if it really existed how they say it existed, the world would have changed in a little piece. But nothing's changed. Everything's the same. It's like there's not like, all the right-wing people ain't got platforms no more.
Their platforms are bigger than ever.
It's the same. Everything's the same. And them lot ain't getting shadow banned like.
Oh, they claim they do and all of that.
But I don't know. Our side get shadow banned.
You probably asked Donald Trump, he'll tell you he's shadow banned. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Maybe he is though, innit? But I'm saying
he got removed. He did get removed from Twitter or whatever. I don't know if he's back. Is he back? We took that off of our topic, but he announced his presidential run. We can mention that it happened the other day. I haven't.
I haven't. He's running.
Can Donald Trump ask forgiveness and be president again?
When is the next election? 2024.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Trump versus
Kanye
versus possibly Biden.
You think that's the three? Like, you ain't going to be no one else?
Well, I know some woman's running against Biden, but I was just thinking, out of them three...
Well, who's going to be the Republican candidate?
I'm voting for Kanye still.
You're voting for Kanye? We can't vote in America.
Nah, if you know what I'm saying, mentally, I voted for Obama. Mentally, innit? Like, I was saying, like...
Nah, man voted for Obama as well. Still, man, one time I think I sat up and watched that shit on the TV.
Yeah, man. Once you vote black, you don't go back. I'm not voting for no one else. I'm voting for Kanye.
Nah, yeah. When we done the pilot, was it about Kanye we was talking about? Or is that the one we didn't end? That's the second time when we didn't end up recording it.
Yeah.
So we had a whole debate about Kanye. Oh yeah, I set up a group chat and all that. I didn't even go in a group chat for this debate today. We'll do it next time. We'll do it next time.
Well.
Shout out Hip Hop Debates UK. Shout out.
That's one of the subjects
Mike
today.
B. Shout out Luke Maverick. Like all of the people that are involved in the debates we have online. We're gonna get them involved again because our show is always about getting involved. So now we're gonna have
debates is gonna come up later on as well.
Yeah, that's gonna come up. But now, leave a comment as well. Like now that we're doing this on YouTube and leave a comment. Like
Nova's gonna reply.
Please, I'll reply, or we will read them out in the following shows when the topics continue.
We will.
Do you know what? No, we have to do a section following up the previous debate.
Yeah. You know what used to happen last time when we was doing the old show?
Yeah.
People would like listen to the show and then re-comment on the threads.
Yeah.
I listened to the show and I thought what you said was interesting about this. And then we just went to a next subject next week. So
we're gonna have to have like a 20 minutes of each show where we're talking about last week's subject. Yeah, and reading replies.
Not 20 minutes. Why has everything got to be 20 minutes?
Bro, do you think there's going to be a lot of those comments? You know what I'm saying? Maybe not 20 minutes, though. Maybe
bang them out.
5-10 minutes. Already we've gone and nearly talked about this thing for 10 minutes now. So the debate, right? What's the question again?
Can an abuser earn forgiveness?
So let's get straight to the comments, innit? Because otherwise we won't read them.
Yeah, no, sure, we will definitely
And it's better for us to bounce off them than... oh, gosh, I asked 2 questions. So I asked... Can an abuser earn forgiveness? And then I asked...
Wise would have been dope in Vietnam.
I was like, am I gonna pretend Wise ain't there, like crawling across the room under the camera?
He's moving like he was in them war films where everyone was in the trenches. Like,
man's trying to be quiet and not saying nothing, innit? We was talking about before you got here. I was like, is Wise gonna talk like Junior in the background or not?
Nope, I bet you don't.
Silence. Alright. So I asked. Wait a second. Can an abuser earn forgiveness? Yeah? Are you going to get comments up as well?
Huh?
You're going to get comments up. First comment, first comment simple. Sarah Jane, nah, they don't change tactics usually. And I get there's a point in that because people say once an abuser, always an abuser. Some people say that. No, but that's a whole different topic to what I was about to say because I don't believe that for a fact. I do believe people can change.
You on the 26 one?
But, or 26.
26 replies.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. And so I bet the mic still picks that up, man. Not saying the crawling.
I ain't gonna lie, that's my favorite shit. Especially when Nova was trying to look for his phone and not be distracted.
I don't know if it's worth it. The sound picks that up if it's worse than if you cut across the thing, because we can edit. Oh no, we can't edit, but cutting through everything. Anyway, don't worry. We're learning as we move. So what I was gonna say is, no, they don't change tactics usually.
You know, let me read one.
If an abuser, it's another question I should ask. If an abuser has earned forgiveness and changed, are they still an abuser? You know what I'm saying? Maybe now I'm saying, oh, you're like not technically currently.
I feel like if they do the work,
yeah,
people aren't like one of the things we do is because a lot of times people don't do the work. We will talk about these people like it's a sexuality or something like they, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, they can't change that. But that's not what it is like with abuse or even any mental health thing. Like when you can go do the work and stop doing that.
But then there's certain, like when you talk about narcissism, people talk about a lot. Narcissistic personality disorder, they talk about it as an actual disorder.
But what's interesting about narcissists, they actually can't help it. It's not like an abuser.
Yeah.
Like an abuser is someone who's usually been traumatized or something and is abusing.
What do we do about that then?
They should do the work, innit?
They have to constantly do work, innit? But I think we all have to constantly do work, and I think we're all slightly narcissistic on top of that, but not narcissistic person. I've said that many times, and people who have had people who diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder as parents and stuff have hotted me up. Like, nah, don't say that because that's a serious thing. It's not the same as everyone else having it.
Yeah, because I met some diagnosed narcissists and I realized, oh no, this is different. This ain't. This is different. You know, the ones like them really can't help it. They're mad.
Do you know what?
You know what? I take that back. Then narcissists gonna be in the comments like, you see what? Yeah.
Problem. So I've done the timer on my phone, but I haven't set it properly, so it just stopped, and I didn't realize. I don't know how long we went over it.
Doesn't matter.
It does.
Saf K says, forgiveness is often more about the abused than the abuser. Well, it was for me anyway. I forgave for the sake of not letting them control my emotions. Doesn't mean I excuse the behavior, though.
Okay.
That was deep.
Okay.
And
so
also,
that's their decision as the
I know a lot of people say, like, forgiveness is for you, not for the other person.
Yeah.
Like, letting go of the anger. I'm too petty for that.
Also, that's a key thing. Like, a lot of the things we respond to stuff like, we're going to get into certain celebrity stories and stuff like that, but, like, we can all sit here and go, oh, yeah, that person's apologized and earned forgiveness. But it's up to the person, like, who experienced whatever may have happened, like, and I think I was just going back to what I thought a minute ago, because we framed it as the word abuser. Like I said, I was just trying to frame it as like someone who's done something really bad.
Yeah.
Can they redeem themselves? Because we framed it as the word abuser. It's like identifying something as a person.
Also, what do you call an abuser? Is an abuser someone who's abused once, or is an abuser someone who consistently abuses? Like, what makes you an abuser?
I think there's some comments that's gonna come into.
So I don't know, innit? Like, I ain't been abused.
Gary Brian Butler said, I was mentally and physically abused from a young kid. I would say no. But if you don't, you end up like me, angry, carrying luggage through life. If you don't forgive, again, it's the same thing. He's saying, if I don't forgive, I'm going to carry this. Oh, he's saying he is. He's saying he's carrying it through life, but he's saying no, because he doesn't think, maybe because of how he feels, maybe because of how he feels about.
No, because if you stay angry at stuff and don't let it go, it does mess with you, innit?
Yeah.
It's like, if you've had an injustice happen to you,
yeah,
I think the solution is justice, innit? But if you can't get that for whatever reason, you can't stay angry forever, innit?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I see where he's coming from. But I'm like him, I'm petty.
All right, shout out to Mike B. He said, I think most people are capable of change and forgiveness. I just don't think most people will.
So, you know, I don't know. He's right to the extent that it's hard, isn't it? Like, it's hard to change anything. Like, if you got a bad habit, anyone who's had any bad habit they got that they don't want to do, changing that habit. Like, you remember when you was chubby?
Yeah.
Like, changing that habit was work, innit?
I want a habit. I'm saying, bro.
Like, it was. It was eating, innit? You was yamming food, innit?
Nah, drinking. I was drinking beer.
That's a habit.
Drinking, those were habits. Yeah, but that was part of it. I'm saying, but if you said,
was it easy to stop?
I didn't intentionally stop. You got to think. You see, for like 10 years, for like my 20s, yeah, maybe 10 years of my life, I was like chubby for most of it, and like living a wild lifestyle, drinking and being outside.
Yeah, I mean,
eating mad food and that, and but I used to always see people over those years, and I'd be like, you lost weight, man. Da, da, da. Or you put on weight. Like, if I actually look at photos of myself throughout that weight, I went up, down, up, down. I fluctuated because I didn't look at it as a habit. I didn't even notice it happening.
But I don't mean just I mean the bad habits and abusers, I assume it's like that.
Yeah.
You know
I mean, I was stopping about, I don't know, because like I said, my bad habits, I'd never really thought they were bad. And when I realized they were, I just stopped them. Like drinking, I just stopped drinking.
And I imagine there's some abusers that do the same. I imagine there's certain guys that was beating up their girlfriend. Them lot split up. He gets with the next one when he's not beating her no more.
Hope so.
I imagine that's happened, didn't it? But I'm saying like I don't know. The term abuser is so vague. Do you know what I mean? It don't really, because it's like if you do me a wrong once,
yeah, I don't think we're talking about that, though. I don't think we're talking about that.
We're talking about like consistent wrongs over time.
We're talking about consistent wrongs or extreme. You know what I'm saying? Let me not underplay that, because actually some people in relationships, it might be subtle things that the other partner feels like is abuse. So that still counts. It might, again,
I'm saying is abuse an abuser?
Is a person who commits abuse an abuser?
Yeah.
Maybe. And here's something that I'll get to that I think we should get to, right? I think we've only got like 5 minutes left to talk about this, and we've got to get into topics. But I want to do some more comments. But I think that's important, because I think the reason people get so defensive about this stuff is because they don't want these titles. And like a lot of the right-wing media that want to justify things, like everyone wants to label things. It's like me when I talk about racism, and I'll go, that's racist. I point out something, someone says something, that's racist, that's misogynistic. And then these people get so defensive, and they always have a get-out clause. I'm not racist, I got black friends. Da, da, da. So, you're not racist then. Da, da. And they're fighting the label.
Are you? And it's the same question. Are you racist because you've said something or done something racist, or do you have to be consistently racist to be racist?
Maybe this is not the right analogy, because with racism, I always say, all right, let's stop talking about the racist and talk about the racism, and then we can focus on the behavior.
I would say the same.
Potentially, but I think
because I'm saying
I think it's more important. I think it's more important with abuse. Maybe with racism as well.
I'd say with abuse, if man, like, let's say it's a specific type of abuse, innit? Yeah, you're a domestic abuser, It may be useful for that title for like other people you might be linking in it in the future. Oh yeah, my man's an abuser. You know what I'm saying? Be easy, be careful. That term seems useful in them terms, but then like when we're discussing it like this, can you forgive an abuser? It feels vague, innit? Like it's crazy. I came up with this question, so I don't know. But these times, but I'm like if it's I don't know. The term abuser feels vague, innit?
Yeah, I mean, we always ask our questions vague to get all angles of discussion going.
Also, because there were so many subjects that covered it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But I'm saying, I think people should be able to, the people who are doing these things, and in order to earn forgiveness, in order to be able to heal and like grow and be a better person, you have to be able to stop and go, right, I don't know if I say I'm an abuser. Some people maybe definitely have to do that. Or at least sit here and go, what I'm doing here is abusive. In order to be able to stop it. How are you going to stop it if you don't realise that's what it is?
That's important.
You know what I'm saying? So I do think the label, like...
and also who you're dealing with as well.
All right, let's get to a couple more comments before we move on, right? Because otherwise... So I've got a comment here from Nubia Allison that says, it really depends on the abuse, the depth and breadth of it, and what the abuse meant to you. One slap would be enough. One slap caused by dementia is something else. Prolonged, unnecessary abuse can never be justified, and yet people seem to be able to forgive. Once I'm out, I'm out. I guess that's covering some of the things we were talking about as well. And like, well, no, that's more to do with what
the dementia thing is a
abuse.
good point. Like, because them people aren't abusing on purpose.
Yeah, but some of a narcissist, like we were talking about
also
before,
not abusing on purpose.
So should we allow them then? Like, no.
Not to abuse me. But I'm saying, like, we should allow them to live. I don't know. Yeah. They have to exist in this world.
All right, so do you want to get one up or should I read another one?
Let me hit Bones up.
There's Bones on there, yeah?
Everyone deserves moral forgiveness.
Yeah.
Why, Bones? This doesn't mean practical forgiveness, though, in terms of being able to go back to the way things were, or perhaps becoming an advocate about the abuse they've committed, etc. You wouldn't accept Gary Glitter becoming an anti-child abuse advocate, would you? LOL. That's a dark joke, Bones. That's a dark... These things are also complicated by psychology too. A victim of abuse may choose to forgive, but this can be down to physical manipulation and isn't rooted in truth.
There's still Bones, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's facts. That's facts.
Essay victim returning to their abuser, for example.
Yeah. He's dropped some gems there still.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to read one more. Seema Dio said, of course they can. We all can if it's genuine and coming from the heart. We would want God to forgive us. We can forgive from afar. Don't need to be in that person's presence. Forgive but never forget. Be wise. 100 emoji.
I'll say, man, forgiveness.
There's plenty more comments. But
there's no, if you've been abused, forgiveness is just your choice. The abuser ain't got no opinion on it, and how you forgive is up to you as well.
Right, this is a good segue then. So, and we've mentioned it a couple of times, it's like it comes on the abused and how they feel about it.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about public people,
yeah,
then we're talking about, comes into cancel culture. Chris Brown, so that was the next section we were going to talk about, right?
Oh yeah, why? Because Riri forgives him.
No. But this just came up in, obviously this is an old story, but it's been in the new. Chris Brown's been over here for the first. Actually, to be honest, it's the first time he's been allowed to come and tour here
for a long time,
and that is to do with what happened there. So there is some cancel culture in that, but he's had. We'll get to this properly, but he's had a fruitful career that I don't think has really been damaged that much. You know what I'm saying, but we get into that. But you're a fan of someone. So there is also another thing of, can I accept this? Can I forgive this person to still engage with their content and still be a fan, still go to the concert? So it's not just about the person who the abuse happened to.
Yeah, and
or do you need that in order to still go to that concert? Do you need Rihanna to come and say, yeah, I forgive him, that's okay, I want his career to go on, which he has done.
Yeah, and also it depends on your audience as well, innit? So it depends if your audience care. That's a big part of it. If your audience don't care, you can ride out. Yeah,
but we're here talking about what we think, innit? So if an audience don't care, someone beats up women,
yeah.
I also wanted to mention in the other section, but we've kept it moving. We're going to go back to the debate. I'm going to speak about it throughout, but we're going to go specifically back to the comments and at the end. But there's a lot of things that are about parents in the comments as well, because we all automatically thinking of relationships, and sometimes it might not be relationship, it might be friendship, it might be, you know what I'm saying? All this stuff comes into it.
Yeah.
But, sorry, what was you saying about Chris Brown?
I cannot remember.
No, I segued it and just completely messed the whole thing up.
Yeah. My brain went to the subject after. What was I thinking about?
But yeah, so anyway, we'll just get into that. So Chris Brown this week, obviously he's been over here.
There was bare controversy.
There
was some girls that couldn't get into the after party. Then there was some American reality TV show girls, Natalie Nunn and Tommy Lee. They was over here beefing him. But Chris Brown been in the press he's been on the blogs in UK, man.
Yeah, but not just UK. So but the main reason,
and America, of course.
The main reason, because he's got new music out, whatever. He was someone was calling him out for the abuse, the Rihanna situation. And he reacted to it. He done a whole big outburst. Now, I took an issue with this myself.
Oh, yeah, that was my girl from 3LW.
Yeah.
Promises.
Oh, and he wrote that in the comments, innit? Did he write? I think he wrote that. He wrote promise there with the TH. I don't even think if I could do it.
Yeah, he just started cussing her. He just went into her comments and was like, this song is trash.
So he went in the comments and said, bro, if you're still talking about this thing.
Oh, no, she was dancing in the video and he was like, this dance is trash. You can't dance. I was like, right, he's petty.
But he was also dissing her, but he's also talking about what happened with him and Rihanna. And he's saying, yo, if you're still on that, suck my dick. That's what he's saying, yeah? It's energy. So I took issue with that. And don't get me wrong, I think people misunderstand me sometimes. That's why I wanted to get on this podcast and start filming this content, because I'm always calling shit out. And people think, that means, you're I'm the canceller or something. You know what I'm saying? And I'm calling people out on the internet. And there's bare girls that agree with me and shit on loads of this shit, but then I see someone going to the Chris Brown concert. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
fine,
yeah.
go to like I bump a couple of tunes, innit?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I don't really like Chris Brown that much anyway, but I do bump some tunes. You got one tune you always bump, that like house. What's it's like a kind of house tune?
Ah, yeah, that's a banger. What's it?
Do you know my favorite Chris Brown song is actually Deuces, which is probably like this song after that whole situation happened. But I love that song. It's just a banger,
yeah,
innit?
that song is very fire.
It's
Still,
just fire.
Shout out to the
you know what I'm
remix of every great rapper in the world.
Yeah, like that. So I'm not saying don't listen to the music, don't whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just gonna discuss
you be
it.
calling out shit and people think, he wants them to die.
No, like, I don't want to cancel Chris Brown. Like, and don't get me wrong, there's women and there's people in the comments who engage in my content because they like the fact I'm doing this, who may feel like that. They may feel way more strongly than I do. And I'm just trying to like ask the question and make everyone out there think about it for themselves. Like think about it and allow those people to say what they want to say.
She was vexed that Chloe Bailey did a song with him. That's what it was about.
So who's Chloe Bailey anyway?
She's her and Hailey, her and her sister were like child stars kind of. They're on what's that? One of the spin-offs for Blackish. That show where their daughters in university, they're friends, and they're both singers. They were like singing together, and they were signed to Beyonce.
Okay.
So they were doing their thing for years. Chloe just went solo.
Yeah.
And she looks very good for a young lady out here. At these times, she's popping hard. And then like she bought Chris Brown on her song.
Yeah.
And it's like the girl from 3LW is like he's using black girls to be forgiven for beating up Rihanna.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think it's a bit of a reach.
I mean, I get it, but I feel like
they probably just hollered him because they grew up listening to his music.
I feel like Chris Brown was long forgiven, like especially in the music community,
in the black community and in the culture. No one's vexed at him no more.
I don't think.
Sometimes press gets vexed at him.
I'm gonna be 100. I don't think anyone was ever really that vexed at Chris Brown. Like maybe when it initially happened, we saw them photos, and I think this is a problem. I don't think we were vexed
Every
enough.
now and then, the press will get vexed at him again.
Yeah,
like on a random why is he at this award show when he did this and he's the face of domestic violence kind of thing.
Okay.
You think he's a bit like the new Ike a little bit?
Okay.
Like he beat up the biggest singing star at the time. Who else done that before?
But he continued to chart and have a huge career and
yeah, that's real talk.
And be on all the biggest platforms.
And that was also to do with like people bringing him in and people bringing him on music.
People continue. Like I saw him on. I watched like
other artists. I mean.
So I'm not gonna say the girl's name. I don't even remember her name. But someone when I posted about this Chris Brown thing. What did I post again? I said like him having an outburst about what he did all that time ago is not it. Yeah, so that's not it. Because if you're gonna be earning forgiveness out here, because remember I talk about all of these people regularly when there's new ones. Yeah, Johnny Depp. I'm not gonna get into that today deeply. Yeah, but Johnny Depp, like his case went completely different. He managed to convince a jury that what he was saying was true, yeah?
Not just the jury.
And the world, yeah?
He convinced the world.
And often in that debate while it was going on, Chris Brown and Rihanna would come up and they would go, look at what, and they were going, the men are always blaming, and they would bring it up and they would say, Chris Brown was innocent too. I see people saying it all the time, like Chris Brown, because she hit him, she did this, she did that.
You need to stop reading the comments. You're going to just be
all of this comes from reading the comments, isn't it? Like,
I hear you. But these times, I feel like Chris Brown, and in that story, you know what I'm saying? People felt like, I remember there was even like a whole stand-up. Like there's people defend him in stand-up comedy. So the angle of the public is, he got done too hard for what he did.
But my thing is, I don't think it got hard at all. So I don't know if we can say too hard. But
he never went to jail. Man's on road.
Someone said he did go to jail. He got a suspended sentence, and someone said he eventually something else happened and he had to go to jail. I don't know if that's true. Remember, don't take the comments for gospel. It's something else I've learned this week. Some shit.
Google it first, innit?
Like I say, over these years, I've heard this story so many times that Rihanna hit him first that I started to believe it. And people would say she's admitted it. She admitted she hit him first. She said it in an interview and that's gone in my brain. So only this week when someone's arguing with me, I went and looked it all up, and that has definitely never happened.
Paul Mooney had a joke about how them Caribbean girls, she headbutted him and didn't leave no marks because she got a big forehead. And then D. Ray Davis was like, if they weren't famous, they would have had that fight over ramen noodles. Yeah, I remember the jokes. It's crazy, yeah.
What I'm saying, yeah. Like my point was, yeah, before I would use, and I still can sometimes, I would use Chris Brown as an example as someone who took accountability where most men don't, yeah? where he said, I did wrong and I'm sorry and I'm trying to be better. Yeah. So I would use him as that example. I've done it in the past because of that interview. He made a whole documentary about it. And when I look at it now, I kind of look at it, I still respect that it happened and he did that. But
okay, yeah, he was sentenced to 131 days in jail for violation of probation.
Okay.
And then he was granted early release.
So he did a little time in jail because he's acting up again. This is my thing.
Nah. We don't know why. Because probation violation by the American police are insane.
But what I'm saying, I used him as an example as someone who took accountability.
Yeah, no,
and
he did.
Said and went to earn forgiveness. So he'd be someone who I could say like, he might have earned forgiveness. Yeah. But, and there's loads of other reasons why we'll say that's maybe not the case with him or things that have happened over the years since. But just talking about what he done now, even though it's all this time later, having that outburst on the internet and saying, suck my dick, ruins that for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ruins that for me. Like, you made that whole documentary going, it's all my, like, I can take full accountability, I fucked up, I'm trying to be a better man. And now you're all these years older going, I done that when I was younger, like, suck my dick if you feel a way about it. Like, nah, because people have a right to feel a way about it forever.
Yeah, because I didn't see it, I can't speak about it. Like,
he
don't seem the most mature. Like,
yeah, I know, he's never grown up. That's what I'm saying. So I don't feel, like, I'm not saying who, like,
Like when I see him before, he was like, "Oh, you know, I see abuse growing up, and that's why I did it, and that's why I got this trigger."
Yeah, he has. I think he said that.
And I was like, "Oh, this is like super account." My man's like, "Oh yeah, I'm breaking down the mentality, and where it comes from." And stuff.
So the girl that was coming from you though. So the girl was coming from one girl was coming from me on the comment when I made this post. I just said, "This is not it." Yeah, I said it's not it. I said it's going to ruin it. Basically, what I just said there, it's ruining your accountability if you're going to come here and have an outburst and start talking to people like that. Yeah, to me. So then people were agreeing with me, whatever. And then
he's saying it's like when Ghostface came for Action Bronson, innit?
I don't remember.
Like man said you took down the tweet. You apologized for the tweet. Like, you took down the tweet. You said he took down the tweet by me.
You're a dickhead. But yeah, he took down the tweet. Yeah. The documentary's still on Netflix.
Now I get what you're saying, because it's like if you're still vexed about that, suck my dick. You can't be like the day before, like, oh, you know, I'm just so sorry.
So there's an important factor to. I'm not going to get into all the stories, but it's an important factor to point out that a lot of like women and people in the comments were like, Chris Brown is a serial abuser. He's done countless other things. Nothing as drastic, but he's had other restraining orders against him from new relationships. He's had rape charges brought against him that he did. I think he got off them at least, or he may have even proved something of his innocence in them.
Right. I don't know none of this.
Yeah, this is recent. He had the thing on.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a big charge. He managed to pull out some tech. It's one of the one times. I don't want to talk about this too much because people love to pull out the one time and go, look, the man was innocent and the false accusations. Mm-hmm. I think there was a text message of something. But I'd look at all of that dubiously most of the time because they will try and make a picture like, yeah, this conclusively proves that, and it might not. It may have done that.
Only people know people that was there.
Remember, I don't want you to quote me because, but I always look at that skeptically. But I do.
So I'm just going to say,
I just do remember that when I saw the text message evidence and from that case, it did make me think, oh, that is looking good in your favor. Like you may have not done this.
But you're saying he's got a rap sheet of abusing.
Of abusing. And other accusations. And do you know what? It's constant. He's got mad cases where he's like snatched phones out of women's hand and like dashed their phone or whatever. Yeah, he's got a thing, and this is just weird in itself. Yeah, because he has girls come to his hotels and on his bus and all that. They have to hand in their mobile phones.
Yeah,
it's like a thing.
Enough men do that.
Yeah,
because I see.
But I'm just like, cool, I get it, but it's like, it's just weird to me, innit? You're making me look more dodgy to me.
Especially the freaky ones. They seem to be like, I heard that about T.I. and his wife. I heard that about, and that was accusations.
And the R charge, the girl who made the R charge, like she that was part of her. I read the whole story at the time. I don't remember it all. She added that whole thing. But so this girl's coming for me on the post anyway. So this girl's like, nah, she hit him first. I actually don't want to get too deep into this. It's a whole different debate. It's like, is it okay to like, you know, be violent as a man if a woman hits you first, etc. That's a whole. I think maybe that is a good debate for another day, but it's a whole 2 hours in itself.
Right. We're not doing that.
Yeah, maybe, but we
wait till a celebrity beats up a woman and we'll make it something.
Well, that's what we're talking about today, but it's obviously
he did
a whole
that
story.
in like 2014.
But it was just mad. This girl came for me. Yeah, she came for me going, nah. And I was arguing from the case of, I don't care if she hit him first. I don't care. Yeah, I don't care what he did. Like he has taken.
But where did it come from? That story.
What, that he hit?
Yeah.
There's two things that
was it in the documentary?
No, there was two things people were defending, yeah? Yeah, it's in the documentary. She was saying, he says, and she kept sharing the clip, yeah? This is why I said, I'm arguing with the woman. I wasn't watching the clip. I'm just responding. I'm actually taking your gospel for it and responding as if what you're saying is true. She said, look at this clip. She said she kicked him. And I'm like, that's him saying it though. So I'm like, I'm still taking it on her gospel that he must say that she kicked him in this story. I'm talking to her for like, this going on for an hour, 2 hours, like, and I decided to watch the clip. Then I realized he don't even say that in the clip. I'm saying, like, I've been actually respecting that he must say this in the clip. He said, she tried to kick me, and he goes, you know, like, just because she's upset, and he waves his hand like that as if like it was nothing. Like very clear, like, she tried to kick me. He's trying to say something slight that initiated why he reacted, but he makes very clear that it's like, this is not a big thing. And then he goes, but then I hit her, like I really hit her, like closed fist. I couldn't believe what I'd done. Like he makes such a differentiation where he's trying to clearly say she done something that was nothing, and I done something which was very serious. And then he takes full accountability. So I thought, who is this woman arguing with me for an hour, telling me she kicked him? And he's basically saying to me, so this woman was saying, so she deserves anything she gets.
Hey, that woman's petty, you know.
That's what she was saying.
I don't know, but it was like, he's just so petty.
She was like a woman with sons. I was trying to. She was like, I got sons, and I had to be very. I don't like talking about people's kids, so I didn't get too deep. But I was like, I did try and say, like, if we raise our sons like this, we're gonna raise abusers. Like, you gotta be easy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that mentality ain't right. But I can tell you, I gotta say, yeah, a lot of that has to do, yeah, with. It's what it is, especially, I bet that was a black woman, innit?
No.
It was a white woman?
A white woman still.
Okay, then that makes more sense, because they're just crazy.
Why did you think that way?
No, because sometimes, yeah, this is what I find, yeah, like, what happens is, there's so much badness said about black people in mainstream media, yeah, like, presented.
Yeah.
Like, the way we're presented in mainstream media. Then when it comes to anything, it's like, there's always a bit of, that's not the story ain't like they're saying it.
Because they're making a story about Chris Brown because he's black.
Like whatever story is, yeah,
okay, he brought
there's always some doubt in the mainstream version of events. Like black people don't trust it. And there's a real distrust of it.
Yeah.
And it's like a counter thing. Like I see some, I know black people that really love Hitler. Because he's been dissed so much, we've been dissed so much.
I was gonna say, shout out a name, but I couldn't allow it. You know that guy I argue with all the time, yeah? TS. Anyway, yeah.
Stop snitching on black people. He's like, no, I'm just saying, but sometimes it's like, they don't like him? Okay, maybe they're all right then because they don't like us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I've seen people defending R. Kelly, I see people, and I'm like, these people got sent, some of them. And I realised it's a counter.
Yeah, I got a beef. I got this one legendary UK rapper. I'm not going to say man's name. He keeps coming for me because I called him I didn't even call him a nonce supporter. I didn't define it as I said, you're supporting a nonce when he was just talking about R. Kelly. And now he's talking about, man's talking about someone should kill me. He's gonna wild threats. Man's playing in Israel.
You don't know how many people want to kill you that ain't gonna kill you. Don't worry about it, man.
I definitely shouldn't say this on the podcast, but
if man is writing comments
I don't know
online,
if I should all I'm saying is
he's not about this life.
Man's doing his first show ever this weekend. I don't know if I should turn up and get addressed, but let me just alright, cool. Yeah,
no, listen, let's not discuss war online.
Anyway, we only got a couple minutes left where we should really still talk about Chris Brown, but you just touched on a topic I think we have to cover a bit more.
Also, yeah, we do.
On when you're talking about the racism, like Chris Brown also in his outburst was like, "What about this person? What about that person?" And listing all white celebrities.
A bunch of pictures. Yeah.
Listing white celebrities. Who did he list in the white celebrities then?
I don't remember one of them. Who was? No, Mel Gibson was one of them.
What's Mel Gibson done?
Mel Gibson apparently, he did abuse his wife. Apparently, Look at me defending white people.
And we didn't come for him. I never heard of that. So yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, no, but he got semi-cancelled. Like he did. Like what happened was there was a voice note that went out. Not voice note, like a voice message. He left her, and he was saying some wild shit. He said he hopes she gets R-worded by a pack of wild N-words.
Wow.
He went wild with it. But then he made Apocalypto, and Apocalypto's fire, so I don't know.
You're a madman. So Big Ben, Big Ben is saying if you make like good art with
that's what the world says. If you're still making, they didn't come for R. Kelly until the album
we're going to talk about R. Kelly later because his sentence.
Chapter and Close of 17 weren't a banger, and they put him in jail.
We forgave R. Kelly, like the world and music community forgave R. Kelly. Then years later,
because Move Your Body Like a Snake was fire.
Then but then years we're going to get to him. Let's not get too much. But I'm saying, so the white celebrities, like, is that Johnny Depp said it already. Obviously, Johnny Depp is an insane, like, mental abuser. I don't give a shit. I'll keep saying it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the man, like, bro, Johnny Depp literally drugged his wife. This is in the case, like, it's factually proven. He paid a doctor, He paid a doctor who was previously lost his license for prescribing, I always mix those two words up, over-prescribing drugs to Ozzy Osbourne, This is Ozzy Osbourne's doctor. This is in the Amber Heard trial. This was
Ozzy Osbourne.
This is Ozzy Osbourne's doctor who lost his license because Ozzy Osbourne, I think, sued him for over-prescribing him drugs. Listen, he got his license back. This happened. I thought this happened after.
Any doctor that was giving drugs to Ozzy Osbourne needs to lose their license.
He did lose the license, but I'm saying I thought because I saw he lost his license. I'm thinking, oh, cool, this must have happened later. But it's mad. You must have had a mad doctor you was having. No, the guy lost his license, fought to get it back, got his license back, and then Johnny Depp hired him to administer drugs to his wife to keep her under control. That he literally wrote a text message. He would get angry with his doctor when she was pissing him off, or text the doctor I am the client. Keep her under control in capitals. So you're literally, I don't give a shit what she did after that. You are literally drugging the woman.
That's rich people problems.
That is mental levels of abuse. And I'm saying he was not only able to, like, get away with it publicly and all of that, he was able to use that public perception to walk in a courtroom and make a jury exonerate him in some form.
I ain't gonna lie. I think
Chris Brown could have never pulled it off.
It revamped his career. I think Johnny Depp's getting offered better roles now than pre-case.
All right, so Chris Brown, look, we're making us do this in time sections because otherwise we'll be here forever. So what was the next? Who's we going to talk about next?
RTM
podcast. Oh yeah, getting close to home now.
There was a bunch of stuff in that. The Skinny versus Rodney clip.
Hey, so listen.
I know. That was, and the Ribz episode was
shout out Young Spray. Firstly, shout out Young Spray.
Is fire, man.
That's one of the podcasts that started in the time since we ain't been doing this is RTM, and he came on our show early. You know, I think some of what he's done even kind of came off the back of him doing them shows with us to a degree, potentially. But it's out of all them podcasts I'm seeing now that we said at the beginning, like, his is my favorite. You know what I'm saying? His to me, I just think it's hilarious. He's slightly touching. We're going to talk about the issues that have come up. He's slightly touching on issues that we touch on. Like, nobody talks about this kind of stuff. Issues with violence against women and stuff like that. No, people avoid it, or they all come from a defensive point of view on a manosphere thing. And Spray, I don't think Spray has intentionally done it from a specific angle. He's just...
The show's mad funny, man.
It's just off the cuff, and but he's ended up covering certain topics in a very hood way. That's just, I like the way it's panned out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
these times,
I didn't see the Tommy Robinson. All right, let me just say the Tommy Robinson one.
I ain't watched it.
I haven't watched it, and I've seen little clips, and I intentionally didn't watch it. And don't get me wrong, I've seen Spray saying certain things where he's kind of like, oh yeah, I agree with you, and it made me not want to watch it because I think Spray's gonna piss me off watching that show, and I'm just like, because man them in the hood sometimes, like, in certain areas, you end up around them kind of white people that think like that. And cool. And you kind of know you're racist, but you still interact with them and know them, and you might see them down the pub, and you're like still cool with each other. So I know Tommy, I know man that know Tommy Robinson. You know what I'm saying? Black guy brothers, you will have a pint with him at the pub. You know what I'm saying? But so sometimes that can make man them end up with some of these similar views about immigration and stuff like that. Like, it's common. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't want to hear it.
Nah, Spray ain't saying nothing like that. He just
he did. He goes, I agree with you. There's a clip where he's like, I agree with you. No more immigration. That's enough now. You know what I'm saying? Spray's just raw. He don't care. He'll say it.
No, but I see him saying, oh yeah, you know, I agree with you that, yeah, we all think we're better than each other, innit?
Yeah, I got that point. I
like,
get
my
that point.
man,
But no, I
ain't
don't
seen
like
that
it. I
information
got that point as well, but I don't like it either. You know what I'm saying? Because I would challenge it. If I was in the room, I would have been like, yes, but I get what you're saying.
But it's not the same.
But I'm saying it's not the same. Let's stop with this reverse racism. Like, oh, white people can experience racism. We can say it if you want, all right, yeah, pander to Tommy for a minute, but then we have to explain what the difference. And then we have to explain how it's not equal. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But these times here, the Skinny Rodney one.
So yeah.
Hey, that clip there, yeah. Because that started in the hip hop debates group. A lot of people don't know, yeah.
Yeah.
That was in the hip hop debates group we set up. And these times here, when that beef kicked off, no one really played it in the game like that. Like,
No, because it was just in Facebook comments, yeah. Like it was people were talking about it a bit. So Skinny, I mean, go and watch the Young Spray Rodney P interview if you want to know the story. Because like, obviously I'm biased in this thing to Skinny or whatever, but Rodney P, he, from my perspective of how it started, the story he tells of how it started, kind of without his kind of biased leaning of it, he does tell the story of, oh yeah, there was this comment about the Grenfell event, and then there was a comment about Skinnyman's record contract. Yeah, I don't even really like. I don't know how deep we need to get into all the details. Obviously, I know stuff about details of this from the inside, innit? But I don't need to sit here and explain everything. But I just think so. Yeah, it started in the hip hop debates group. This was ages ago. Mm-hmm. I have heard Skinny speak to me about this in private already. I know them lot got a drama. I heard they bumped into each other at the chip shop. Something happened. I didn't. I heard that from third parties. You see it.
Yeah, we just heard on the grapevine. You know what I'm saying?
And then I see Skinny again recently because he called me about that ages ago. We had a whole conversation, and I see him again recently. He was still talking about it. And he was like, "Yeah, Rodney, it's going off." So he really is vexed with man, innit? So when Spray see man, and basically Spray has called Skinnyman because he's got Rodney P coming on his thing, doing his research to be like, oh, what can I ask Rodney P? Not knowing they got beef. And then I know how Skinny would have reacted because I've heard he's done it to me in private, yeah? I don't really want to get too, like I said, I don't want to get in it because it's a gossip thing.
It's a two-pack Bicky thing, innit? Like, one side is fully on it and the other side not really wanting to beef, it seems like.
Maybe, but at the same time, man's still on the thing going, yeah, any way you want. Like, he's still, I just think Rodney P, yeah?
But you're like, what could you do otherwise, innit?
Bro, I'm thinking Rodney P in that interview goes, oh, I'm 50 years old, like I'm not into like fighting and whatever, yeah? But he's still engaged. I know Spray's a drawer out, yeah? The best thing for him to do should have been like, I'm 50 years old. I'm not going to talk about this. Because Skinny's not, like, as mad as Skinny is, yeah? Skinny,
I would have done that at my 39 years old, so why you got to drop the age? Man to just be like, yeah, I'm not talking about that.
That's what Rodney
should have done. Else.
That's what Rodney should have done. That's how I feel about it.
Now, I know Spray be pushing it, but like, yeah, you can tell me what you want, but
he kept going back, you know. You know, like when he's doing the fire round later on, he was like, yeah. So who would win in the fight? You or Skinnyman?
I need to finish that episode.
But like, just you know what, like, all right.
And who did he say?
He didn't answer. He just laughed. He didn't let that draw him out. It's mad, isn't it? Because them man are like two of the most legendary rappers of all time in the UK. It is mad. I grew up.
It ain't that mad. Rappers are proper like.
I've known them to be brethren, innit?
Rappers are big ego people, man.
Like, but Rodney said, like, I'm biased, like I said, yeah. This thing happened with these two reasons. Skinny calling out the Grenfell thing was random, but I think that was a thing that came off the back of him getting pissed off because Rodney had gone online. Skinny was saying he didn't get paid for his record deal, and Rodney had gone online and said, I know that not to be true. And he managed to find some bank statement where Skinny got paid some little $2,000 or something. But how do you even got access to that for a start? He wasn't signed to Rodney's label. As far as I know, he was signed to Low Life Records. But Rodney's got Rhythm Killer Records, which was a subsidiary.
I think part of the beef is Skinny coming for Low Life as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So Skinny's coming for Low Life, and Rodney was like, I know that not to be true. And in the Spray podcast, he goes, I had to say something because that reflects on me. And my thought is, how? How does it? And explain how it reflects on you, because it doesn't. It don't reflect on you. I don't know it to reflect on you. Also
Skinny's been cussing Low Life for
and years. Everyone's been cussing Low Life, and I'm saying, and I'm saying, because me and Skinnyman had the same manager, and I'm saying, and obviously I'm involved in that whole movement anyway. I know certain things, or I've got a perception of certain things that happen that might not be exactly what Skinny's saying, yeah. Mm-hmm. But am I going to come on the internet and say that, because I do know he hasn't been paid money. He's owed a lot. I do know that the masters to his music was all online and someone was getting money and he's not getting it. So I already know something's gone wrong. That ain't right. So am I gonna pull here and go? Oh, no, actually, you got paid 2 bags that one time. What are you talking about? Bro, the man sold like 100,000 albums.
Yeah, that
why did Rodney feel his need to go in and say that? So then I just didn't rate it. I don't know why he had all the energy for him. Maybe there was already something going on between them that made.
I think it's just they're already in this little petty back and forth, innit?
Yeah.
All I would say is, they just link up and just sort it out. Old school.
Yeah. What old school? Straight now.
Straight now. Go pub, talk it out. The big man, you see, man can beef it out and then be blessed. That's it, thing done. Also, how many times you've been in a fight and then fought that person again and again and again? That's not how life works. Just fight once, get over.
But that's what Spray's saying. Spray's like, yo, he said when he sees you, like, every time. Every time. And he's sticking it on, man. Yeah, Spray's the best. Every time.
When he came on our show, I'm so pissed that one didn't go out because he won me over in that show. That's what I mean. Spray is just a big person. He's
a huge personality. But
he's dope.
Yeah. And anyway, I tell you the one thing I decided from that Rodney P thing, and I'm going to say it here, I don't care what backlash it gets. One thing, because Spray's asking him what happened in those scenarios. Then he said Skinny accused him of bumping some money from a Grenfell fundraising event. That one thing, I just as a basic common sense human being reading mannerisms and the ones people's reactions, he 100% bumped that money.
You're coming for
no, bro, he said, listen, and then Spray didn't even diss him. That Spray said, yeah, I've done the same thing before, and he busted joke about it, but I'm saying, bro,
he said this, that's what I would say. That was hilarious.
That's what I would say about my event. Bruv, the man said, he mumbled, like when you're just, when that man, you're asking, okay, what's the story? And the man goes, well, see what it is, yeah? I took the money and then I know a girl, yeah? And she works at Apple, a girl at Apple, And so I took the money and then she doubled it up. And he's moving like 3-4 people removed, and he's trying to, you can see him making it up as he goes. And then the man goes to him, how much money did you make? He went, I can't remember, that was time ago. I'm like, bro, it was the other day. I don't care, like we was there. Wise has bare photos, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a photo of me and Rodney P together. That day I posted it on Instagram. I don't think it's there anymore, but boom. Shout out Rodney P as well anyway, but okay. Where's like, and he also, yeah. Listen, let me just say this. Also, yeah, he said in a thing, he goes, it's easily provable. I can go and he said he took the money, and he goes, are you, because I'm not a registered charity, but I took the money and gave it to a registered charity, or gave the iPads or the what, I don't know. Because remember, that's how, I'm saying, money, iPads, double, charity, this, like, he says, I filmed it. All right, let's see it then.
I
want to see it though.
I ain't going to chase up this Grenfell money, but the Grenfell people...
I don't need to, but if Rodney P feels like that, then he said it's easily provable, just do it.
I'm going to lie. Now he's been accused, he really should, because
I would have to. After that, that's a serious...
If I've been publicly called out, unless man's guilty, I can't now keep these videos and evidence in secret.
Let me just give him a benefit of the doubt, yeah? Let me just say, I get it. Like, he might not want to post something on his own Instagram, like giving kind of energy to this beef. Yeah. That's why I get that. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I
also the energy in them comments was wild, innit? Both like the back and forth. When I read it, I was like, "Bro, these two, man, I get it with Skinny. You know what I'm saying? Skinny is Tupac. But these times, he's like, you wilding out sometimes. But these times,
that's what I'm saying. Skinny's like that. That's why that's why it's a couple of things I didn't like from Rodney. But then obviously I don't know Rodney the way I know Skinny. Because Skinny's just like, he can just be mad, innit? Like, and like, that's his energy when someone disrespects him. I'm used to it. Don't matter how old he is. That's how he is. But he's not on the internet talking about it or doing a doc. He's not going to Spray to do a second episode, or like he doesn't want to. I think he's a bit pissed off about it being public. So I don't really. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. Because I haven't heard Skinny public talk about it at all. And I heard people say stuff
on the timeline, that little bit when they were arguing and that in the debate. That's how it started, didn't it?
I only saw that little back and forth in the group chat, and then I ain't heard Skinny say nothing else. And I've heard rumors of him making moves. That's it.
Yeah, I know.
So that's why I'll probably guess he's pissed about it.
I'm not going to get into it. I have not spoken to anyone firsthand, but I have heard they whacked each other again, and things have happened. Again, I've heard they've seen each other.
These old men
since
I've
heard. Listen, I heard.
I'm proud of them both.
I'm not saying what I heard.
Because they're big man to me.
I'm just going to say.
I'm glad their knees and backs are good enough.
Someone,
to get in that work. Them big
someone told
working.
someone something.
And they both brought me in. They both brought me in the past.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
as my oldest daughter brought me in, I'm glad you man are healthy and well enough.
You're on a big Rodney P record. That's true, isn't it?
I'm saying I'm glad they were healthy enough to do their thing. You get me? Because I know some people that they're not.
But getting back to the topic. So the reason this was coming up as well. I mean, we were going to talk about that anyway because I almost didn't want to, but it's like when we were doing Pyro, there's no way we wouldn't have spoke about that if something like that's happening. Yeah. So, but also the Rodney P thing. Obviously, Rodney P has had bare accusations and been cancelled in some ways. They said they cancelled him.
The Ribz episode.
And then the Ribz episode.
That one was fire.
The Rodney P episode. Obviously, it comes up about him, about violence against women. It's all been in the newspaper, so it's not like this is a well-known story. Yeah. And it comes into can you earn forgiveness? The Young Spray thing, let me point out, he says we'll get to that in the interview when I talk about the Skinnyman bit, and goes, we'll get to the violence bit. And then at the end of the Skinnyman bit, the interview chops. You never see this in Young Spray. So I know for a fact that all of the bit where they spoke about the violence that he's committed and stuff like that was cut out of the episode, yeah. And even when Spray talks about on the Ribz one, where Spray talked about Ribz or talked about Ribz since, he went, I even said the same to Rodney P, as if like he told him you're guilty, you're wrong. But we didn't see that.
He said to Ribz, man, you're guilty, just repent.
Yeah,
I'm your brethren. You're guilty.
This why I said Spray's a G.
Just repent. I see my boy yesterday, and he was talking to me about it. He was like, when he said, I'm your brethren, I was like, no, you're not. I'm your brethren, you know. You're guilty, you know. Just repent. And he's telling him he's guilty.
But I tell you the most fucked up bit is early on, the first time he says, I'm your brethren, he's saying, when he's initiating the conversation,
I wouldn't let you on the show.
So I wouldn't have let you on the show if I thought you did this. So obviously you're my brethren, so I'm giving you the platform to think. And then he starts thinking, and then it happens.
No,
and he goes,
it's
I didn't
when
know
my man
this.
starts explaining as well.
Yeah.
The story he tells don't make no sense.
Let's just like full disclosure though. So like full disclosure, and I see Ribz the other day randomly in Camden. I see him like 3 days before that thing dropped. I see him like spudding in the street, like bless. We had Ribz on our show. We had Ribz and Spray on our show before, obviously.
Both of them.
We had Ribz on our show. I was called out for having Ribz on our show because I talk about violence against women and you know these kind of things so much. And I went and looked into that case more. Someone shared the actual article at the time, and I looked at it.
Post we put him on, people started sending us.
But don't get me wrong, I want to address this properly that I did know about it, but I went and I took it down. So I'm glad we did that. I did that over a year ago. I took it down because I was like, no, this is right. We should have never had him on the show. Yeah, no, and if we did have him on the show, we should have addressed it. But I remember at the time, when he came on, I knew that thing had happened ages ago, right? Yeah.
Do you know what? All I had seen about it was on ZTVD's page.
That's what I'm saying. And because Z's man them, and I know, don't get me wrong, Ribz. I know Ribz is Z's people. Ribz is close with bare people I know. Yeah. Like even one of his cousins is my brethren. Like
people.
Like, you know what I'm saying? He's from around where we're from to a degree and knows a lot of people we know. But I didn't really know him like that. Yeah. But we know of each other. I bumped into him at probation. Like, there was I was on probation myself, and bro, this is the maddest thing, yeah? It's insane. But it's like, bro, there was a fire alarm, and everyone had to go outside, didn't it? And that's why I see him, I was like, oh, what, I'm like, boom, we start talking, and I had a vague memory in my head of something like charge like that happening ages ago, when I was less knowledgeable on these things than I am now. And even then, when I saw him, I was less knowledgeable than I am now. But my journey had started starting to learn and address these things then. But I didn't, like, in my head, that thing happened so long ago, I didn't think he's in probation for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking he's on probation for some, like, didn't he go to jail ages ago for that and then come out, he's done something else, you know what I'm saying?
He did at 8.
Yes, I didn't know, I didn't realize. When he came on our show, I did not realize that was a recent, that he's still doing, because I wouldn't know, especially me knowing how little time people get for these charges and shit. Yeah. So he did at 8. So, and when he did our debate with us, he wasn't a big talker. We made him, I can't remember what debate we brought him in on, We brought him in, we did a debate, we talked about whatever his music was. It was a very brief interview. And I remember thinking, should I bring that up? And do you know why I decided not to? Because I thought, I don't want to I don't want to give a platform for him to convince people he didn't do something that he might have done and I'm not sure and I don't know. Like, so I didn't, you know what I'm saying? And that, don't get me wrong, that is what I expected to happen on Spray's show because people everyone's ready to believe the person didn't do it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I only knew once if the show went out and then like people were sending you stuff and you were sending it to me. I was like, what?
Yeah, I saw
the story I had seen was on Z's page, which was him telling the story.
So he's told the story now a bit in a way where it fell apart. But like, I heard the same story before. He's like, I went to do a robbery. I went to rob this woman and they've turned it into discharge and stuff. I wasn't trying to do that. I was just trying to rob her. And I think at the time I was like, all right, cool. That's what you're saying. I kind of took the story as that back then. Remember, it's 8 years ago or whatever. And then Spray started asking about that. And that's why I love, like, Spray is not trying to do what I do. Like, when I talk about these charges, like, he's not out there campaigning for women's rights and stuff like that. He just done it in such a natural way. But he don't realize he's achieved that in just how he handled it. And it's what I want to say to people. When I'm talking about the word abuser, I'm like, you need to understand, like, be able to say, actually, that is what I'm doing in order to change. And so Spray literally was doing that on the spot.
What do you mean?
Like, on the spot, he went, actually, no, you did it. Repent. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's what.
Oh, like what?
Do you know what I'm saying? That's literally what he's saying. But he just done it off the cuff, and he achieved it.
Because when my man said I pled guilty, and his explanation was wild. I was just like, and then you can see Spray. That don't make no sense.
Yeah, it don't make no sense. And then he started going, wait a minute, like how does it even become like a
IPP for 8 years if you're trying to...
It wasn't an R charge, it was an SA charge. It wasn't an R charge. He never got an R charge. Or he said attempted. I think at some point he goes, it's basically attempted. So there may be an attempted charge on there originally. I don't know. He got an SA. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. For like the SA charge to get 8 years is mental. Spray says that in the thing as well. He's like, how can you get that long? It must have been something drastic that happened. Like, obviously, I know courts are racist, etc. But we can't use that argument for everything, for the whole...
No, bro, there's a drastic bird for that, man. Them man don't get birds.
So what I'm saying is,
armed robbery,
I think Spray's right. I think he done it. I don't know what he done. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm glad we took the interview down because you know what I'm saying. And I'm like full accountability that I don't think we should have done that. But
when you sent me them things, I was very co-signing taking that shit down.
But the like TikToks, you send me TikToks, the way it's gone like viral, people coming for him. Obviously, Ribz made a big mistake going on that podcast. That he didn't know that. Like,
he didn't think
he didn't know it was going to work out for him like that to the point. And now
they were obviously going to ask him about it.
I know, but he didn't think that now it's going to be. And I would never expect this. The actual conclusion would be we've all realised he's guilty because it never happens. Everyone believes the person, but it's just story just wasn't good enough. Yeah,
and then also when his story, and then when you see what the newspaper said and the victim said, you're like, bro, that's wild.
He says the victim didn't come to court and all of that. But obviously, you see what they said at the start. All right, let me just say one thing. You
know, the victim called police.
Yeah.
Before he came back, like he walked over to her, talked to her.
Yeah.
Walked away. She called boy them straight away.
Yeah.
And then he came back.
Well, it says that in the paper. Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's why he was saying bad stuff on Z's channel. Like I was listening to that bloody Twitter debate afterwards.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's wild. It was proper stranger danger thing, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because even in the Spray podcast, Spray's like the person behind the camera, someone behind the camera asking questions, going, "All right, cool." But when you went to the house, he's assuming he's going to a house. It's in a house, and Ribz is kind of going along with it. He's not correcting him, and then Spray's like, "I don't even know where it was." And none of this stuff gets answered, but we know it happened at a train station.
Yeah,
do you know what I'm saying? So, but what I'm saying, like. There are some other bits in just
Spray. You know what's funny? Spray says to him at that point, repent. I told that to Rodney P. I was like, right. That's what you cut in. That's what was cut.
Okay, that might be it. Yeah,
that's definitely what was
cut. That's what I hope with the whole Rodney P story and all of that. Yeah,
delete subject.
With the whole Rodney P story, it's like I don't talk about this a lot because obviously man know about it and the people's privacy I want to protect. It's like cool. My man is now. You know, married, kids, living his life. I just pray. The most important thing I pray is you've learned your lesson, and you personally accept your responsibility, and you personally have adjusted in your life. And you know what I'm saying. And I look at Ribz, and I think Ribz ain't never gonna be able to admit. He may not be able to come out and say it because of what it would mean for him and his public perception, but. He talked a lot in that interview about I've been going to courses. Even though I'm not guilty, I had to go to these courses. I still have to do this now. you're gonna learn a lot in them places. Like I hope I would actually, if he wanted to, I would sit with him again and say that conversation. So okay, because he makes quite a few statements about these things are wrong. It's wrong, like to do this, and he goes and he starts saying some weird stuff. It's almost a bit weird, but he starts talking about like nonces and girls' uniforms. Yeah, he makes and Spray's kind of confused at first, but he's like, yeah, like, he goes, why do girls have to wear skirts? Like, like he's trying to say the ideas that he has thought of from being in these courses and around like sex charges and that, and he goes, yeah, girls shouldn't have to. Why do girls have to wear a skirt in a school uniform?
I saw them bits.
Yeah.
By then, though, I already saw them.
But I'm saying, I went, when my daughter was in primary school, I went for this. I actually went to the school and go, why can't she wear trousers? And they were like, no, they can't. And I made the school, my baby mother and me made the school change the rules. And then they had to write out a letter.
They can't.
To the, they can't what?
The school rules meant they couldn't wear trousers.
No, the school, yeah, they have to wear a skirt. The girls wear a skirt, the boys wear trousers. So
why?
That's what I'm saying. And it's like, it's winter, it's cold. We was more like on the it's cold thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, allow it. So we were like, no, we want her to be able to wear trousers. They were like, okay, you can wear these trousers, but it has to be this girl fit trousers and that, whatever. I was like, cool, all right, they're allowed to wear trousers, bless. And that's what, it just made me think of it because Ribz was like talking about nonsense and all of that. He's been on these courses and he's like, oh, why do they make girls wear skirts? Like he was saying, and he was bringing up things that he's learned. So I look at it and I think, okay, cool. Have you learned something? I just hope that for the man that don't take accountability, who maybe ain't gonna earn forgiveness. I hope you learned something.
Ribz was just dropping the nonce core.
Yeah. He was trying
on the pod.
Yeah, he is.
Like, this is what I learned.
Yeah, he doesn't really go into it deep, but he says a few things about things he's learned, and he's like, yeah, I want to say something. Do you know what I'm saying? Which I think is fair. Like I'm saying, I think it's fair.
No, for sure.
And like, can he earn forgiveness? For him to earn forgiveness, for example, can he earn forgiveness
from the abuser? From the
audience,
from the public.
I don't see it happening with him. You know what I'm saying?
It's hard work. I listened to Twitter that they talked after that Spray song with the Spray podcast with his co-host, that girl. I can't remember her name. Anyway, but they was coming for him.
Coming for who?
For Ribz.
For
Remember
Ribz,
I sent you a clip?
Yeah, I don't know. I saw a few clips. Anyway, we've gone over on this topic already, yeah?
But anyway, it's a good segue because, you know, shout out to abused women and that. Shamia, ain't it? No?
Sorry. I'm getting a message that I need to reply to.
Is it not Begum?
Yeah, so, yeah. Shamima Begum. You're calling her Begum?
Is it? I don't know how to pronounce her.
Cool. So we're
I can't pronounce your name, like, so allow me. Innit?
You can't pronounce my name.
I can't pronounce names. Pronounce my thing. I call. Anyway, I'm not going to start telling you all the names I get wrong.
So we've actually got two more people we're going to cover, and I don't think we'll talk about these for as long, and it doesn't matter because.
But I'm saying this girl was actually abused.
Shamima.
Yeah, she was abused and trafficked. So and now she's stateless, and we don't really care.
So the reason we're talking about this,
and the public don't care about her abuse. The public don't care about. So sometimes, like, the abused don't. I'm saying she's a cancelled abused.
Yeah, because people don't look at that. People are like, all right, she went to. Where did she even go? What country did she go to? She went to Syria, so join ISIS. Supposedly. Well, she went to marry someone.
She went to marry
and had kids, and now she wants to come back.
3 kids.
And we probably had this debate on the show at the time again, but it's coming up again because now it's been decided she's not being let back in the country.
Yeah.
So that's it. So
I ain't gonna lie, with that one there. So what they did is they made the public. They interviewed this little girl in a refugee camp, fresh out of coming out of a cult. Yeah.
Yeah.
After she was sex trafficked when she was a youth. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then used the perception of her from the public, because she's a little brown girl and that, you get me, to break international law and make her stateless without any precedent. So we haven't convicted her of any crime. We have no evidence of her crimes, but what she's told us, and then that's not gone to no authority, it's not been written down. They just said you're stateless. And you know who's next?
Yeah.
People that look like me.
Yeah.
Other people that look like me, we go on holiday. They decide they don't want us to come back.
Yeah.
And they can make us stateless now legally. in this
No,
country.
they're not, I don't think they're making a statement. They're saying she can go somewhere because she was born in India or something.
No. They saying because her parents are Bengali.
Yeah.
I think it's Bengali, but it might be Pakistan. Because they're one of those two countries, she can go back there. That country has already said no. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So that's
So
not
she's just where she is now.
So she is property of Syria, but Syria don't want her.
Yeah.
So she is stateless. She's not a citizen of Syria.
Even my man, yeah. What's his name? Even my man, the Tory, is it Reese, the guy with the glasses?
Yeah.
Reese Mogg?
Yeah.
Even I see him even the other day saying, no, this ain't right. We created this problem, we need to solve it here. She needs to go, like, if you're gonna go jail for life, even, he said, bring her here. If she's committed any crimes, we address it here with the court. Do you know what I'm saying?
Bro, as far as
But don't get me wrong, bro.
I ain't gonna lie, ISIS ain't letting women out there do moves. They really old school. I ain't gonna lie.
Like, say she ain't done nothing.
It's cover your ankles and that. It's not, hey, grab the ball. I bet you cut man's head. You can't. ISIS was man them focused. Like the gal them were there for one thing, to get beat.
I was about to say shout out about
So that the soldiers.
I was about to say shout out to my man, but let me not use the term shout out. But the brother who we knew someone who went over there.
Oh
and
yeah,
that, you know
what's
what
his
I'm saying?
name? What's his name?
Lyricist Jin.
Lyricist.
Remember, he was the
Jin.
number one.
He was in the front cover of the newspaper with
As like number one suspect
for
of
being
Jihadi John.
Yeah. Because his dad was active or something, innit? Or
but there was
families.
five British people over there, and they called them the Beatles. So that was Jihadi John, Jihadi whatever, yeah, all the Beatles names, innit? Yeah, Jihadi Pool. So he might have been Jihadi Pool. He weren't Jihadi John, but he might have been Jihadi Pool, innit? I don't know.
As long as man went Jihadi Ringo, you get me? Man can't co-sign Jihadi Ringo.
He got arrested now, innit? He got
My
arrested.
guy, yeah,
he
they
got
caught
arrested.
him.
I think they brought him back here.
They brought back Bear Man. That's what's
I
wild.
need to look that up.
There's Bear Man that have come back.
I need to look that up quickly because he did get arrested, I think, in Turkey, innit?
Couple head choppers. Even the guy that blew up the Ariana Grande concert went out to go do some terrorism.
But I swear they said
That
they
was
were going to
there.
bring him back here and try him here, innit? British ISIS suspect.
But the whole point of that, 'cause I can't lie, I see Bear.
Bro,
people,
look at this. This is the news article. This is a while ago, though. So here he was arrested this September. Article saying had nearly 50,000 euros in Bitcoin when arrested. These men are doing this Bitcoin thing.
Man's there with the USB. Man should have swallowed the USB real quick. Man, we were thinking, you know, like 50,000 on you.
Yeah,
what does that look like? That could be anything. 50,000 in Bitcoin could have been on his laptop, could have been on his iPad.
Yo, listen, it says the London rapper was living in a flat with a sauna and a terrorist claimed police.
Gee, that ISIS life is balling.
No, remember, he fled ISIS. So ISIS are onto him from time because he fled them, innit?
They don't like him no more.
Yeah, the people, the deserters, innit? Like, he's probably
That
more...
man move like
He's
mafia.
more worried about
bro.
them finding him than you know what I'm saying, than the British police
There
finding
was
him.
just a religious group. Nah, they on this. Once you claim ISIS, you're ISIS for life.
I'm trying to find out. So I don't want to have to read this whole thing, but I'm just trying to find out because it's interesting whether they brought him back here and they won't bring her kind of thing. Do you know what I'm saying? And there's probably a million other examples we could have.
What's the second IS for?
I know I think he's been in Spain. I think he's been tried in Spain.
What's the second IS for? I know it's Islamic State, but is it Islamic State? Islamic State?
It's like a chant. It's like a chant.
You got Islamic State, Islamic State, Islamic State. What's the IS? Because in other countries they call them ISIL. I don't know what that is.
I think that was the previous name, and then
because ISIS is an Egyptian queen. They need to stop biting. Shout out to all my whole tech man. Them don't let them bite. Pick your own names, innit?
Yeah, he ain't. And it's nice just talking about his dad because his dad's on a sentence in America or something. So yeah, I don't know what happened with him, but yeah. So let me just get to the comments though, because I actually asked some comments on this one.
I ain't gonna lie, I feel like they did that purposely just so they could start getting rid of people of color, and it makes it easier. And not even people of color, enemies of the state, people who've got opinions they don't like, and it just makes it easier. Like, okay, well, they've done something we don't like.
Yeah.
They've showed themselves in this way, we're gonna make them stateless. And then anyone that has dual citizenship, you have a way now to make them citizen of that other country.
100%.
And that was illegal before. And
100%.
and they didn't do nothing. They ain't convicted her of nothing to make that happen. So it's just off their opinion. And what would their opinion be on the next thing? That's what we forget. We're always like, oh, we like this thing here because we agree with you. We forget we won't agree with them on the next one. We never agree with them on the next one.
I don't agree with them on this one, innit? I'm saying, but for the people who do,
yeah.
I was hoping to get some comments where someone might say, I agree with
shipping her
or whatever. You know what I'm saying, but no one's really saying that in the comments.
Them man have already spoken enough.
There was a point I wanted to make off what you were just saying there, but I'll just read a comment and see if I come back to it. But so Matt Hards said, wrong decision. It's not about safety fears. It's about getting the far right and intolerant voters on board, stir up hate, stoke the fire, then catch the mob, then cater to the mob, bring her home, prosecute and sentence if needed. So that, as you were saying.
Yeah, man, like, do all that stuff if necessary. I'm never pro-prosecution unless it's them other crimes we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
These times here, I'm just like, she got trafficked. Take that girl to a bloody therapist, man. Like she was in a cult, and so
that's why everyone be complaining.
She saw people get their heads cut off, and she said she was all right.
That's why everyone be complaining. Oh my God, she's living on the state and getting free mental health support. I'm like, yeah.
But then we would have less people flying out to ISIS if we had some mental health support, man.
I pay my taxes for that.
I've been on the waiting list for therapy for like 2 years.
Me too.
They want me to bug out on someone, and when I do, they're gonna be like, "Oh, he's off the." Anyway, I hope it's you. I hope it's you commenting that they shouldn't get mental health on the estate that I slap up one of these days. You know what I want? I hope it's you. Comment.
Another one. Every comment starts with the word wrong. So wrong. If we're saying that Prince Andrew's victim didn't give consent, which she didn't, then neither did Shamima. She was a child who was groomed by manipulative men and should be treated as such. Let me just read the other comment as well, so we've wrapped them, yeah? Obi Joe said, wrong. We wanted Gary Glitter back from overseas all those years ago to be punished for much worse crimes. What is the difference? That we wanted to bring Gary Glitter back because he's managed to escape somewhere where we wanted to run him for the crime.
Bali or Thailand or something.
Do you know why that is? Because like you said, they ain't got no crime because they don't have a crime to run her for when she gets here. They have to make this her punishment.
Everything that because I can't, like, even when people were vexed at her and they were like, did you hear what she said? She said 2 of her babies died and she was just there. I'm like, that sounds like she went through some horrible stuff. They're like, she said she saw heads get cut off and she's okay. I'm like, she's not okay.
Yeah.
If you're a little girl and you're seeing heads get cut off, you're scared of the people you're with. They're moving bugged out. They're cutting off heads. Why? You got a gun. Shoot, man. Why are you cutting off heads?
As an example with this one, we're going back to the topic, and we had a thing about Corbyn that we had to cut out because we don't have enough time to cover everything, but Corbyn was announced this week that they're not going to let him run as a Labour candidate in the next election. So there's another, these are the real examples of cancel culture.
Fear Palmer.
These are, well, let me not put Corbyn into what I'm about to say actually, but they're saying she done something wrong.
She got cancelled.
She got cancelled, literally. But I'm saying, like, they're saying she's done something wrong. They're obviously saying that redemption is not possible for her. She cannot have no forgiveness.
Yeah, for real.
So as an example, and who's deciding that? And who's deciding that? The government's decided it.
Some rich
public
tough.
Yeah.
Some super rich tough who ain't never been through nothing, never seen nothing, never done nothing that matters, making big decisions.
Although going back to what I said before, it's like she didn't do nothing. So it's an example when they didn't do something that it's like, well, how are we gonna? Then we can't even let her
come back
build
and just
forgiveness.
walk free. Especially with the amount,
saying.
That media campaign, the interview, everything. I said this is genius. Whenever it's an immigration thing and you show one of the immigrants, it will never be a good thing. You know what I'm saying? If you show one immigrant to represent all of them, or whenever it's like a legal thing about people coming in and out the country and they show one person, that person will never be the person you want them to show.
There's a bunch of other people who's going to cover who haven't covered. Mentioned Corbyn. I'm just going to mention some of them briefly, right? Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is an ongoing story. We'll probably, as we do this show, that might come up. So there's a lot of people who defend
Raspect
Andrew
Rebellion,
Raspect,
and he's been doing better work lately. He's been killing it.
We weren't going to talk about him in line with this debate in the same way, but because
then people don't need forgiveness.
I'm looking for the comments, but I realized we wasn't going to cover this. But Sam Smith and Andrew Tate, there's a meme keeps getting shared comparing that one of them is being cancelled and he's a great guy, and the other one he's like being promoted and to your children he's a devil and I'm saying a cross-dresser and or whatever. So I was like, I just look at the comments, someone said this is the dumbest comparison I've seen online. And I've seen a lot.
I can't lie, sometimes when they do them ones, I respect it. I'm like, oh, you just doing your own thing out here. What's Sam Smith got to do with Andrew Tate? You know, like if you showed it to Andrew Tate like, oh, who's he? Or what's this? Why does this make sense?
Yeah. So I'm looking at Andrew Tate as an example. I just wanted to mention him in the topic. Yeah, I'm not going to get deep on him, but can Andrew Tate earn forgiveness? He's not trying to, innit? So there's a person. 100% to me, Andrew Tate cannot earn forgiveness because he's like right now. That person is not trying to earn forgiveness. He's trying to act innocent. He's like, even though, listen, this is. Talking about Andrew Tate is going to create wars with his super fans on the internet. I've realised now they're beta males. That's what they are, and it's hilarious. I actually looked up I had to look up the definition of alpha male and beta male, yeah, because these man, remember they come for me.
Beta.
Remember they come for me all the time. They're his followers, yeah. They're his followers, and followers of people like him who always call me a feminist, feminazi, come at me for being a male feminist and stuff, and they'll go, "You're a beta male," yeah, and I'm like. That's why I want to do this podcast as well, to just get my let's talk properly.
You want to tell them you're a Chad, didn't
No, I don't want to tell them that. I'm just saying I don't. Listen,
no, but be getting pussy out here.
What's that mean? A what? Huh? What did you say?
A Chad.
A Chad. What's that mean?
So these red pill men, that's who the Andrew Tate fans are. They're all just red pill men.
Yeah.
They don't like man them that get pussy in it. They call them Chads.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Tyrones. Yeah. They call them Tyrones, innit?
Okay. Yeah.
I get more pussy than all the Tyrones. These times, they call them the bellows.
Chad is like, yeah, exactly what I'm saying. Call it a Nova because I'm like, Chad is some idiot name. But
I ain't met no Chad. No, I love the country.
What I'm saying is, yeah, them man have always called me beta male, and I laugh about it. I started calling them beta males, yeah, just for jokes. Like I'm like, you lot, like, you're so soft. You're so like insecure and da-da. So I'm calling them beta males, and then I looked at the definition and someone who was it? The guy Terror always beefs with, Jacob. Sabo, I don't know his surname again, but so Jacob, he said to me like, these guys they think like, you see this, they think alpha male is a club you can join. The concept of the alpha male is there is one. You know what I'm saying? Literally one. He runs the pack, innit? So these men are like, yeah, we're this, we're joining, and Andrew Tate is making them pay him money to teach them how to be alpha males. But I looked up the definition of a beta male, and a beta male, I thought it was a different type of male over here. The beta male is the male that upholds the alpha. So like the people who beta males are the males who follow an alpha's lead. So I was like, yo, you man are all like literally by your own definition, you man, all Andrew Tate followers are beta males. That's it. And I like, cool. But I don't believe these concepts exist, but by their definition, that's who they are. And I keep on having to tell them when they talk to me, certain times I'm like, cool, I don't believe in this shit. But me and you sitting in the room together, I am the alpha. Like, that's a fact. You know what I'm saying? Because I will slap you up. You know
these
idiots I'm talking to.
However, it's a genius move. Because what I see, like, when 2020, when Kevin Hart was popping, when we was all in COVID, that like the red pill just started to, I feel like it blew up 2020 when we was all at home, all these podcasts started where it's like every episode why women ain't shit, These times Andrew Tate watched that and then was like, all these podcasts are talking about selling women high value men. I'm just gonna come and say I'm a high value man. I am the alpha man. Follow me and I'll teach you how to be one. And it's great hustle, man.
Yeah, that's great. I think most of these things are just
that's why he's probably the king of the red pill.
And I think most of these things are just. And I was going to say this on the intro, but I keep getting invited onto loads of podcasts recently, innit? And that's why I was like, no, we just got to do ours. I've been invited onto Pearl. What's it called? Just Pearl.
Yeah.
We're invited onto that podcast.
You can hit them all. I ain't hitting none
I've been invited onto Sinner. There's something called Sinner something. It's like a sex podcast almost, and it has some similar like guess sinning something about sinners. Yeah, I'm gonna do that one because it seems cool.
I watched Pearl.
I'm not going on Pearl. I've told them, and I brushed. I'll do this another time. I'm gonna tell this story properly, but. Me and Sarah had a whole back and forth on Facebook, and I brushed him. Like I literally, and I thought to myself, if I ever do this show, because I saw this stat that he made up about, and I say made up because literally made up, but he was telling this stat about single mother homes and how like blaming single mother homes for boys that go to prison, for like all these different things. Yeah,
that's in all the.
And I'm looking at it like, and I'm like, yo. Capitalism, people. But anyway, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at it like that. But then I actually looked up the study and found out that he was lying. literally that study for a start that was never a study based on mothers. It was based on parents. Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, we understand they're more single
mothers and fathers.
Mothers and fathers. But if you look at the study, I'm not going to say this all properly now because I'd have to pull it up and do it again. And I did when I was debating with him. But it's like, if you look at the study and what it was based on, it was not trying to come to this conclusion about mothers that you have. It wasn't at all. It was not based on that. You know what I'm saying?
But they just
so you've taken a number of studies and joined them together to create
this conclusion.
And you've presented it as if it's a fact from a study based on this when it's not.
And that wasn't the conclusion of the study.
It wasn't the conclusion of the study. So it's like, so I stuck all that on him online just because we ended up, I'm not even friends with him on Facebook or nothing, but it was on like another person's, a girl's wall. Me and him ended up going back and forth. And I stuck all this on him in the comments and he had no response. I was actually shocked. Like, I thought he would try, like he literally folded. He tried to have banter with me about, whatever. He even had banter about me brushing him. Like,
but I'm saying,
like, you're dead. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of these guys,
people were putting coffins in the comments. And,
if you ever see them debate people, I don't know. I feel like it's more it's entertainment. So they bring on gal and they hot them up and then.
Alright, so we have one more thing to cover. I'm just going to admit we've completely lost track of the timing.
My phone.
But we've been going an hour and a half, so we've got to start. Like we've got to start wrapping up. There's one more topic, and then we've got to go back to the debate and comments to wrap up.
What's the last topic?
Well, the last thing we were going to touch on was R. Kelly and Weinstein.
Oh, they both got convicted.
Both got sentences.
That kind of ties into the Chris Brown thing from earlier.
Yeah, and I think that's why I wanted to mention Andrew Tate. Because I feel like it's showing the different people at different stages of a circumstance like this happened. We started with Chris Brown, which was a long time ago. I said why I don't think why he's tainted his apology and but I think if we just like acknowledge that he did make those apologies at first and accountability, that's how it should have been, how he started it, right?
But what them man are accused of, like, I don't know, with domestic violence, there's a certain level of forgiveness.
Why?
But I don't know, but
compared to sexual violence,
there's never no forgiveness. It's like, especially with the public, if you've committed some act of sexual violence, we either have to believe you didn't do it for us to even.
We can't let you. Cause we can't start letting you back into the point like I'm gonna enjoy your music if you was a music artist in the same band. But I'm talking nonsense because actually, like we said earlier, R. Kelly, we forgave him when he made bangers.
Yeah, but even with me, like I can bump some R. Kelly even to this day, but I can't bump no songs where he's talking about Ali, you got it. I'm like, oh no, she was like 14 when you're saying she had it. Like there's certain songs where he be saying stuff where I'm like, this is directly related to children. Yeah. Skip.
I mean, it's another topic as well. Can you separate? There's a whole separate.
But in Weinstein's movies and some of the things he's got, and then some of the things that are in some of the movies.
I'll tell you one more. Yeah, I'll tell you one more. Like Tupac. Tupac's my favorite rapper of all time. I think he's the greatest. I think he done so much good, and his message was so strong and so powerful. And I'm never gonna not like support that and talk about that. But watching the victim of his assault talk on Vlad TV and going back to his story and reading it again and watching her story and realizing how similar they were, I decided that I think he'd done it. And I still listen to his music and I sit here and I think to myself, and again, them circumstances were, okay, cool, you're not out here saying I've done this, but I hope you take some accountability in your own life and you learn from something in that situation that wouldn't go forward. And I look at Tupac and I think he probably would have done that. He's dead, so what can I do?
Did she say they spoke?
She said they spoke after, and they.
Or did he say it?
No, I think she said that at some point. She did say that there was communication and they've made their peace or whatever.
I didn't watch them bloody interviews.
No, I watched it. It's hard. I went to watch it again. I was at a girl's house and she had it on, and I was
like, "This is a hard watch." Kelly. I ain't watched one documentary of these recent ways because, like, more time you either know they did it for sure, or it's like I don't know, like. It's dodgy.
I think with Tupac, like I think what I kind of decided or like realized is, I think he done it. I don't think he realizes he done it. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes people do something that they don't view in the way that they become to realize it is afterwards, especially with consent. He was never charged with rape. People talk about that, but it was a sexual assault charge. But I think he done it or done something that means he got that charge, but he may have not thought that's what he was doing at the time. But that's cool. You have to learn and you have to face the consequences of that. You You know what I'm saying? And you have to, if you
It's
want, you have
mad
to earn
how
forgiveness.
slow the American judicial system is. Britain's mad slow, but I swear them charges on Weinstein and R. Kelly's like from 4 years ago, 3 years ago.
But both of them have been charged already with other charges. These are both second cases.
Oh, so they're in jail for something and they put second charges and they're going to run them concurrent.
I haven't read whether Weinstein's will run concurrent. I read that he cried in court and said, "Don't make me spend the rest of my life in jail. I don't deserve it." You know what I'm saying? So fuck that guy anyway. But R. Kelly, he was already doing 30 years for trafficking. And now this is 20 years he's been given as a separate charge for child sex
pornography.
Might be child pornography. And they said they're going to run it concurrent apart from 1 year. He'll have to do 1 year extra before however many years they'd said he would, before eligible for parole. They're putting 1 more year on. I mean, it's just good that he just got the conviction, isn't it? But it's like, now, like I said at the beginning, we went from someone who originally took accountability and tried to, ask for forgiveness and was forgiven, really, Chris Brown, to a large extent. Then we've covered, we went through more Mandem and all that people we know. Okay, we went through 2 people we know, Rodney P, Ribz. Rodney P, who hasn't been forgiven by a lot of people, but a lot of people have. He's still working. You know what I'm saying? Ribz, I don't know if we're going to... Ribz wasn't that active anyway, but I don't think we're seeing him working. So there's 2, but those are two people more that are incidents from the past.
Mel Gibson.
Andrew Tate in court now.
Mel Gibson was forgiven after the Apocalypto, the public forgave.
Yeah, you forgave him. I know, you said it. If Big Ben forgives Mel
Gibson.
Gibson.
World did. You know what's mad? Apocalypto came out, I watched it. I heard about that after that film dropped.
And then,
I didn't even know when it happened. I found out about years later.
But then I'm saying, and then R. Kelly and Weinstein now, who are being held accountable to the fuller extent for their crimes, who I don't think, they're not trying to earn forgiveness, so they're not going to get it.
They both say they're innocent. And I'm telling you, it's because of what they're accused of. Same like Ribz, yeah.
Yeah.
That man will never.
So you can't earn forgiveness without, that's what I'm saying, you can't earn forgiveness without accountability. So it's like, it's a difficult one.
I don't know. I saw.
And I don't know how. I don't know. It's how loud they are about it. I only realized it's about Weinstein because he said it in the court. You're being loud in the court, trying to make. You know what I'm saying? And R. Kelly being loud all the time about. You know what I'm saying? Trying to act innocent.
There's a TED talk.
Just shut up.
I haven't watched. Yeah, which is a woman that was sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
And her sexual assaulter discussing it.
Oh yeah, I've seen a clip of that.
I've seen a clip
of that, and he was basically there. I don't know if he was trying to get forgiveness. Not he was just trying to like show accountability.
I saw a clip where she was like,
I just saw the comments like, "Fuck this, fuck this
yeah,
guy,
that's what I saw.
Fuck giving this a chance."
Hey,
like,
listen.
You know what I'm saying? And I can't. And I think, you know, what the thing is, like, as much if anybody thinks that he should be able to come there and redeem whatever, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if that's your opinion, I think it's even my opinion that can be done, yeah, in a lot of circumstances. But you must accept that there are people who will not agree with that and are going to say, fuck you forever. And that's my problem with where we started with Chris Brown, because he's not accepting that. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, he will never accept it as well.
Yeah, so it's like, it's not full accountability if you never accept that. But yeah, that's that, man. You know, and them man are in jail. I hope Harvey Weinstein does spend the rest of his life in jail. I hope they don't let him kill himself. You know what I'm saying? Make him ride. You know what I'm saying? Make him ride the pain of it. R. Kelly the same. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, free none of them. These times, yeah.
Say free none of them.
Free none of them. These times, no freedom for the nonsense.
Look, we've covered all the topics, I think. So you saying your battery's dead? You can't read comments?
I cannot read comments.
I might have to pass you my phone, innit?
And no, you can read them and I'll just give opinions.
Alright, Lynn Geddes, or Geddes, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but says, depends. Child abuse is unforgivable. Domestic abuse, couples can push each other to do things that is out of character, especially when alcohol is involved. They can saying that's funny.
She just added bad details. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially like,
Is it how I'm saying it?
No, it's like couples could push each other. I feel like something happened that morning.
I want to interrupt and say something.
Like I feel like something happened that morning. She does something. Couples could push each other, especially when alcohol was involved. I don't know why I heard it like that.
Now let me continue. Yeah? They can work it out and forgive each other. Animal abuse. It depends how serious it is. What do you mean? What do you mean?
What?
The animal, and the mad thing is we care for animals more than humans, and I don't like that. But it's true, like an animal there's no way an animal.
How can an animal get you vexed? Like, what did it do? Nah. All right, listen, animal defense.
Wait. She says more on this. I need to continue.
I like this girl.
Giving a dog a quick kick is forgivable, whereas letting it die is horrible conditions. Isn't something you can forgive. Where do you draw? Like, so she draws the line. Oh, you're allowed to kick a dog,
but is it like?
But you're not allowed to kill it.
Is it a volley? Like if you volley the dog, yeah. If you like give it the proper whoom.
This reminds
like volley the dog, yeah.
It's not funny. Listen, yeah. This brings me back to that girl when I was talking about the Chris Brown.
I don't cause
this brings me back to the Chris Brown comment earlier where the girl was saying, anything, like if the woman hits the man first, anything he does in response, yeah. And then I was bringing up the murder statistics. 3 women are murdered by male partners in the UK every week. I'm gonna have to keep repeating this because people need to learn it, yeah. And I'm like, so where do you draw the line? So I said, so if he killed her, if he killed her, is that okay? And she didn't want to back down, so she was basically saying, yeah, if he hit her and she happened to die, but he didn't mean to kill her, then yeah, it's still her fault.
Well, she should fight the law because in the law,
that's what I don't
even if two men are busting me up, yeah, if I defend myself, that's assault.
You defending yourself? No, it's not. Self-defense.
Nah, it's got to be 3 men. Or maybe they change the law. When I was on probation, I know a guy was there because he dashed 2 men through a window.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but it's 2 men. Ain't that self-defense? He said, no, it's not.
Mad. But I think, I don't know the exact laws of self-defense, but...
So I'm saying, like, if that's the case for the law, I'm just saying she's reaching, innit?
Yeah.
Like, that's how...
she's reaching crazy. Anyway, we've got non-conformist free thinker.
I would advise, though, as women, don't be hitting men thinking that they're not going to hit you back because of morality, because men ain't moral. That's what I'll tell you.
Oh, yeah, fuck no.
Like, sometimes we will be like trying to live in this moral world where people should behave by the morality of how we see things.
Well, it's not moral. Like, people think I defend women hitting men all the time as well, innit? Like, it's not moral for women to like hit men and all that as well.
I'm not sure about all that. I'm not sure how common it is, but I know just don't do it because man are mad.
Yeah.
Man am I duppying out here.
I think we're losing some light out here, so we gotta start wrapping up. But it's all good. A couple more comments. Non-conformist free thinker. Forgiveness is an essential part of healing. It carries many layers, and more time you are not forgiving the abuser for their benefit, you are forgiving them for your own benefit, as hatred and anger are killers of the mind, body, and soul.
As long as it's the ops mind, body, and soul.
Yeah. What?
You know what I'm saying?
Your own mind, body, and soul.
No, I'm saying like, okay, I'm just vengeful. I feel like, I thought he was just like, killers of the mind, body, and soul of all ops to get me. Let's duppy everybody.
No, they were saying it's better for your mind, body, and soul. Kill
the anger inside.
No, they were saying, hatred and anger are killers. Hatred and anger are killers of the mind, body, and soul. So you're saying of your own.
But also your enemies, no?
So you're saying they're good? Like, have hatred and anger towards them? No, it doesn't. No, it's not, because it's like that saying of like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies. Bitterness, you do it to yourself.
But what if you both drink it together?
Yeah, but you have to make them drink it. That needs to be like revenge. You're talking about revenge. Yeah.
I feel like...
yeah, that should be, all right, if an abuser cannot be forgiven, can we get revenge? That's a new question.
Next subject. Next week.
I'll be honest. I honestly think certain levels of violence and retaliation and revenge should be legal in certain circumstances, but you'd have to be able to prove why you did it.
Decriminalized, didn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
like
a whole next
If someone, there's a lot of women in jail for killing people. That
Just shout out to
defending themselves from.
other comments. Red Medusa, shout out Red Medusa. She has to come on this like very early, but actually maybe when I start doing a Social Justice Warrior as a podcast, she just said honestly I don't know, and she's someone I'd love to have heard her opinion on this because just an opinion I value in all of these conversations. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more comments, and actually, let me just go back because I made a second post, and let's see how can I so Bright Gerbrand has said, and I'm saying how can an abuser earn forgiveness? Has said, I guess self-development, growth, asking for forgiveness, and forgiving themselves. Forgiving yourself, yeah, that definitely is part of it. That's
probably the hardest one.
In order to like make that development of being a better person. I knew my door was gonna ring, and I knew it. So we're not gonna answer it. It's all right. Yeah. So I heard them ringing the neighbor upstairs, and then they want to ring my thing. I'm saying answer for your deliveries, man. I'm saying. Anyway, Vicky Turner said, I don't think anyone can earn forgiveness unless unto themselves, as forgiveness is a gift from the victim. But generally,
like Vicky from back in the day.
Yeah, from back in the day. But generally, learn, grow, accept, and change. I don't think I earn forgiveness unless unto themselves.
Have you ever forgiven anybody anything?
Oh, I'm very forgiving.
Yeah,
I've forgiven wild things that happened to me. You know what I'm saying? And I think I've had to earn forgiveness as well. You know what I'm saying? Like I've in all of these conversations, like I've had situations where I've done bad things. The things that I would say are abusive. You know that we go back to the word, like where people can't
separate the word from themselves.
So they fight the word and the label because they think it means something to themselves that they can't accept. Whereas like you need to accept it in order to move forward. I had to learn certain things I did in relationships and in life that was controlling and that was wrong. In order for me to go, I needed to earn forgiveness, and I believe I've earned forgiveness with people in that way. Do you know what I'm saying? And like I say that as well. I try and say this to people when I call stuff out as well, because people go, "Oh, you think you're the white knight? You think you're perfect?" I'm like, "No, I'm not." Like when I say this, I have to be able to look at myself and say, "Oh," you know what I'm saying? And I think just to wrap, we haven't really given our own opinions majorly, other than agreeing with the comments in a broad kind of way. But I do think forgiveness can be earned. Like I said, I'm talking about myself earning it, but then, you know, there are much more drastic situations than mine that some of the examples we're talking about in the show are. I can't tell any, I think it comes, like, yeah, maybe it is a gift or lack of a better word, like Vicky said, that has to be decided by the victim.
Like if you've had something done wrong against you, yeah, I'm not angry at how you take it, innit? So if you take it badly, like, because that forgiveness is very like the bigger man type of thing. Not to be sexist, you know, but like it's like you're trying to rise above it, innit? But not every victim has to do that. So I feel
they don't have to. Yeah.
Forgiveness, even if the person earns it, they don't necessarily have to get it.
Yeah, they don't have to get it.
Even if they do everything right, they hold themselves accountable. They come and offer.
Yeah.
Don't mean I have to forgive them. And then also, if I don't know, especially like in them abusive situations, yeah, how people react to them situations can sometimes now then look abusive, innit? You know what I'm saying? So you're being abused. I think like how you was breaking down to me in the Amber Heard thing.
Yeah.
Like she did certain things in reaction to being
reactive abuse. That's a whole different. Like, that's a whole different thing. That doesn't. Yeah.
And so then I would say them people should forgive themselves.
The reactive abuse people. Yeah. Well, I don't even count reactive abuse. Like that's.
Yeah, but they do, innit? I'm saying the same.
Well, they love flipping it on the woman, always on a gender level, but it can happen both ways. But they love flipping on the woman and calling the reactive abuse the abuse. That's what happened to Amber Heard, isn't it? Like,
but I'm saying them people should forgive themselves, because I'm saying if someone is messing with you, how you react to that ain't necessarily going to be right.
In order to forgive yourself, though, like not on a reactive abuse, on a personhood, like you as the initiator of abuse. In order to forgive yourself, you have to have taken accountability and changed. This is my thing. You have to have taken accountability. And don't get me wrong. I don't think change is a flick of a switch. Yeah, I don't think a change is like, okay, you was an abuser and now you're not. I think it's ongoing. I think it's ongoing for everyone. We all have to be able to learn and grow and be better and realize we might make a mistake again and go, cool, check myself. at all times. Do you know what I'm saying? So I do believe that, you know, just to summarize on the question, I do believe it can. But I think you summarize the most important thing there is that it doesn't mean everyone has to forgive. And like, if we're talking about celebrities, Chris Brown, it's not Rihanna might forgive him, millions of his fans might forgive him, but then another millions might not, and that's life. They don't have to. Nobody has to. I don't have to forgive him. Do you know what I'm saying? If I don't want to, I don't have to.
I'm just
fuck
saying
him.
that.
I don't want to hear it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Like people make
And you have
up
to
their
accept.
own mind.
You have to accept different people's decisions.
And also, when we say forgiving it, sometimes it's not our place to forgive it. What we mean is, are we gonna carry on using man's content? Because forgiveness ain't really the word if you're not the victim.
This way it gets so sticky, and I know we've got to wrap up, but it's like, then it's like, okay, so that's why it's hard for the victim, because if we all make the decision, we're going to forgive, but the victim hasn't. And don't get me wrong, I don't really want to drag this out loads as well, but even Rodney P situation, right? I know some of those women who spoke, they were talking about that because they didn't like the way he's just been allowed to continue as unchecked, yeah? I don't know I don't know what they want the outcome to be, whether they want him to come out of the limelight and just be held, like, completely held accountable. I don't know, innit? Fully. Maybe that is what they want. And they have a right to want that. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. Do you know what I'm saying? And my thing is... Cool.
And how they do it...
My thing is, if I make a different decision and say, I'm still going to be a Rodney P fan, cool. But they might be vexed with me, yeah? And they have the right to be. Do you know what I'm saying? They have the right to be...
Most definitely.
And like, cool, I might be in the wrong. And I'm never going to shut down that conversation, is what I'm saying.
But also, like, I don't know. Growing up in England... There's things I like about England, but England was supporting apartheid my whole youth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm very much an understander of there's nuance to it. Sometimes
supporting.
like
even now though, I'm saying in other places.
Right now they're doing the same things. They're in
Yeah.
Africa right now, probably causing bad trouble, and it's like. But I don't mean like I hate every English person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying there's nuance to like, there's things I like about England, even though I know this country is a devil in the world kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like the same thing. Sometimes it's like I can mess with the art, depending on the crime, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's like I can mess with the art independent of forgiving, because I also don't feel like it's my place to forgive if the crime weren't committed against me, innit?
Yeah.
But it's like putting money in these people's pockets. That's why them people get vexed at.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times victims were victimized because the person was a celebrity.
Yeah.
And you're keeping them a celebrity. So then more victims might come.
It's sticky.
Sticky, innit? But then if they've held accountable, like, when Chris Brown beats up some more girl, it will probably be in the newspaper.
Yeah, but it's, with him, it's always been in the newspaper, and he's just like that girl that was defending him. Literally had a response to every single thing he's done. I didn't call them all out, but she just went. I said he's continued to do stuff, and she literally listed
every single one,
everyone, and said why it was a bullshit thing and he's innocent. I was like, okay.
And it's hard because with celebrities, you invest in the person. I think hip hop's slightly to blame because you love the rapper. You're like, okay, better the rapper, the better the man.
All right, we got to wrap up. We're approaching 2 hours. We've kept it under if we wrap it now.
Yeah, so, I gotta keep it moving as well.
Flip Life podcast. I think that's the first ep. If this goes out, it's a good start.
Yeah.
Shout out
if the sound works.
Shout out
if the cameras work.
Media. I'm very shook to press stop on this recording device and like just make sure it's recorded.
I want you to know I was the only thing that definitely worked. Like my beard's on point.
But
like,
listen,
I'm wearing the plumage. Don't hate.
Hey, subscribe and leave comments. Like leave comments because I will come back to them and read them out in the next thing. Read them out. Like leave comments on the YouTube. Yeah, don't leave them on Facebook and all that. I mean, leave comments on Facebook. When we do the next debate, I'm always asking on Facebook for people to leave comments. So leave comments. Do be aware I might be reading them out, etc. You know what I'm saying? But leave comments on YouTube from this conversation for us to read out next time. And youtube.com/FlipLifeMedia. Subscribe to the thing because we have a YouTube channel that's always been there. We've not been active on it. Doing this is going to make that channel quite active. So also fliplife.co.uk will take you straight there. So yeah, subscribe to the thing and we'll be back.